In today's show, we talk about poverty.
Welcome to another episode of TGI Monday. Hello Paul, hello Tamar, hello Angel, who's feeling quite excited that she became a big sister to 8 new siblings in the night, so a bit tired. Photos in the link. Damien's not very well, so he's not joining us today, and Mary is busy being merry elsewhere. But we're going to dive fairly quickly into the question today, because it's potentially one of those that divides quite a few Christians, and it's a little bit political. So religion and politics don't mix, do they? What do you think?
I think Jesus was a very political animal. He was always scraping with the authorities.
Yeah.
So I think people who say, "Ooh, keep religion out of politics," I think they're running scared, to be quite honest.
Right. How so?
Well, when religion is about life, it's what binds people together. You can't avoid.
And one must remember the etymology of the word politics, poly coming from many, and ticks, as in parasite.
Many parasites. Beautiful. What do you reckon, Tamar?
Yeah, I agree. I think that I don't see the point in trying to come up with laws or politics without factoring in faith.
Indeed. Well, the question, which comes from Will Moore on YouTube. Thank you very much, Will. I think you may have sent us questions before. Keep them coming, even tricky ones like this, because he asks, what does your faith, you're going to have to give me the wording again, how is your faith shaped by global
How
policy?
does your faith affect your opinion of global poverty or something along those lines?
Yeah.
Yep.
How does your faith affect your opinion of global poverty? Sorry, Will, got there in the end. But you get the gist. What do you reckon, Tamar? How does your faith affect your view of poverty?
Well, I don't really have much to compare it to because I don't think I thought about poverty at all when I wasn't a Christian, because I came to faith really young. But I think that the more I get to know Jesus, the more my heart breaks for the poor, especially when I see it in front of me. When I was at Birmingham at university, there's just so many homeless people all over, and it just broke my heart. So
Your church setting is also surrounded by, you've got quite a mixed community, haven't you, in your area, and there's a lot of poverty.
Yeah, it's true, there really is. Yeah, I think it's important for the church to see that need and to meet them there.
Hard work though, I think.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Paul?
Well, I was looking up what Jesus said about some of these things. One of the things he said is, the poor will always be with us.
People like to quote that one as we're not going to solve it.
Yeah, so does that mean we just go, meh, don't care, give up? Because they're always going to be with us. But then I think, well, wait a second, it's an ongoing challenge, something that we must never ignore. He also said about giving charity, or alms as they called it. He said, when you give alms, not if, but when. So it's an expectation that Christians should be charitable in whatever way they can. Doesn't necessarily mean money. A lot of people give their time.
Yeah.
Sometimes all people can give is their prayers and their hopes. But there's a Christian tradition called tithing, which in plain English means giving 10% of one's income.
10%?
10%.
Giving away 10% of your income. Can you imagine such a thing?
Well, there's
people who
debate.
hear it for the first time get really, really, what? What? But that is something that a huge number of Christians do practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
10% of just income, or 10% of what? Where does it come from in the Bible? Can you just kind of give us or I don't mean the verse reference.
It was the harvest originally, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Do you want to tell us a bit more, Simon? No.
10th of the harvest.
Yeah, it was.
But there was
an Old Testament
thing.
Yeah.
There was also that sort of generosity thing about don't scrape the corners of the field too diligently. Just make sure there's some left for the poor and the homeless and the widows and that to come and collect as well.
People coming to
that
take
was the story
left over.
Ruth.
Yeah, gleaning what was left. because it was definitely a part of the whole story, actually. So I think as Christians we talk about it because Jesus was, I think, quite explicit about this stuff. But we'll come to some of his words again in a minute. But the Old Testament is full of that. Look after the widows, the orphans. My favourite verse, in the whole Bible really, which, well, among them, is what does the Lord require of you but to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. And that's from the Old Testament. It isn't specifically to the Jewish people, so the people of Israel. So it's something that I think God's always cared about, because people have always been selfish. That's probably why we've always got the poor with us.
Well, not always. When Jesus was asked what's the greatest commandment, he did mention love your neighbour as yourself, not instead of.
No.
And some people don't love themselves. So when I'm thinking about poverty and this question about global poverty, I think about giving to oneself. So giving yourself time or space or treating yourself now and again. So charity being personal, local, so people who are in need. National, so national charities, I don't know, pick your favourite, and then international.
Yeah, so activism and online campaigning. Shameless plug for justicemail.org if you would like to get involved and find that easier. That's what it's for.
We'll link it down below.
Yeah. Do you consider campaigning as part of that, as your faith? Is that a separate thing, or is it to do with our faith?
If you don't have billions to give away like Bill Gates, maybe that's, like I was saying, all you can do. Whether you're a person of faith or not, you can add your voice to a petition. Change.org, another shameless plug, where many people coming together doing a little can make a big difference.
Yeah, I think some people feel as though, as long as you love your actual neighbour, and actually it is always about kind of doing the small, immediate things. Because I remember being part of a debate at college, which got people really hot under the collar, about should you give to food banks? And there were some people who were adamant that that shouldn't be your first response, because by giving to food banks we are propping up an unequal and unjust system, because the government then gets to say it's okay, everybody's feeding each other. But I always end up coming back to the middle line and saying, well, we need to do both. We need to be campaigning to try and make a more fair system is part of I think, loving your neighbour. But it's something that I think people feel powerless to change, don't they, Tamar?
Yeah. It's because it's such a huge task. Like, people will feel like I could help this one homeless person, but there's like 50 other in my city, and it's...
Can you imagine if everybody was as concerned with, we focus on, I need to earn what I need to earn in order to put a roof over my head. If that was also, loving your neighbour as yourself, so I need to earn what I can earn so I can put a roof over my neighbour's head, that's pretty hardcore, isn't it? And
but
radical.
if everyone did it, it would be easier.
Exactly, it does require all of us. Anybody want to throw some words of Jesus in there just to bring us...
I think I've thought of one.
Oh, yes, please.
Didn't Jesus say, what you do to the least of these, you do to me?
Exactly. That's another of my favourites.
Yes. I like that one.
Yeah, so, yes, it massively shapes our view of global poverty, and we think it was always part of what God has cared about, and certainly the stuff that Jesus talked about. And so something that we need to keep working hard together, all in it, everybody doing stuff, makes a big difference.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and keep those questions coming. Thanks a million.
You started talking about giving arms. That's ALMS.
Yeah, not one of these.
Yeah, I thought
not
that
arms.
Not the militia.
Arms. Yeah, well. Yeah, have a puppy instead.